Hello! Welcome to Chilean Nintendo Gamer. I was supposed to do this a while ago. I actually uploaded a promotional video saying that this channel that used to be Chilean Retro Gamer Plays the Classic, one of the secondary channels, was going to become a channel exclusively for Nintendo consoles, giving some emphasis to first-party games. And yeah, today is the day in which I'm actually starting this. Today is May the 7th, 2018, and more than likely I'm going to be uploading this video today. So you have these updates to this channel as soon as possible. Starting with Donkey Kong Classics on the NES. Again, I will be doing my best to keep this channel updated and giving emphasis, especially to first-party games. Of course, there will be third-party games of different Nintendo consoles, but I'm trying to start with something super classic, not terribly obvious at the same time, because yeah, you might expect me to play Super Mario Brothers, for example, but I decided to start with something that is super symbolic in itself, which is basically featuring two of the most important, well, one of them the most important Nintendo franchise. So I think this is a perfect starting, or the perfect way to start this renovated channel, rebranded channel. Alright, so yeah, I'm playing some Donkey Kong Classics. I'll be playing the two games actually. I do want to cover Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., which is technically Donkey Kong 2. Since there was a Donkey Kong 3, of course, which isn't part of this little compilation. They released this game separately, but at the same time they released this mini collection. Okay. There weren't too many fires at the top, which usually makes me nervous and everything. So how are you guys doing? I hope you guys look forward to the different projects I have in mind. I plan on doing streams, if it is possible, from the older laptop, from the newer laptop. Today I'm recording from the older laptop. Again, doing features on first-party games, third-party games. We're on level 2. So I think that the remaining level that we haven't seen, the Pie Factory, is not on the NES game, but only on the arcade. Oh yeah, I can actually feature, and I plan on doing it, Nintendo arcade games. Even though the channel is going to be mostly focused on Nintendo consoles, there are a few arcade games, including, Donkey Kong is actually one of them. Some games that were released on different systems, including the NES. But there were some arcade exclusives as well, like the Versus system. There's a variety of games there. I fucked up. I think I did get an extra life at some point. Probably you can hear the clicking on the controller I'm using. I'm using the 2-button controller of my Famicom, the Creation from 1991. Unfortunately, this controller, which is actually super cool, I could show you a picture of it. I don't know if I have it somewhere here. Maybe for the next video, I will have the picture ready for you to see it. I've shown it before on an unboxing video that I made when I got the Creation Famiclone. Yeah, I'm making an exception now, taking the hammer. I usually try to avoid taking the hammer. But yeah, as I was mentioning before, I'm not a big fan of the fires hanging out at the top. So yeah, with that I cleared 2 levels. So I was actually thinking of covering 3 levels in case the Pie Factory could show up, which I don't think it's gonna happen. These 3 levels is all that we got, basically. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the controller. I'm using this 2-button controller with additional turbo buttons. Ass. It's one of my favorite controllers. The pad is kind of similar to the one for the TurboGrafx 16 PC Engine. I mean, the controller itself might remind you of that. Alright, that was a cheap fucking move on the game. That's game over. Okay, I'm giving it one more shot. Maybe I'll just cover the first 3 levels and I'll call it. I think I made a video on this version forever ago, when I used to do a section on the main channel back in 2008, 2009, that was called I Feel Like Playing, pretty much featuring short videos with commentary, not doing full playthroughs of games, and I believe I covered this one port. I've done the Game Boy Donkey Kong game, is one of my favorite Game Boy games ever. Donkey Kong 94. Well, it's actually called simply Donkey Kong. I do actually own a copy of it. So yeah, I want to make a point about the controller that I'm using. I do own an actual NES controller that I can hook it up to my computer and use it in order to keep the experience as authentic as possible. But this 2-button controller for the Famiclone is actually very good. So probably that's the one that I'll be using the most, as long as it works, of course. It's a high quality controller in my opinion. The pad might not look super reliable, however it's super responsive. Again, the look of the pad might remind you a lot of TurboGrafx. If you're not familiar with the TurboGrafx controller, think of the Genesis one, for example. But it is super responsive. It's one of the best I've ever played with. And the actual buttons are like the NES ones. Okay, that was easy. So yeah, I've looped through the levels 3 times already. So I think you have seen more than enough. And I'm gonna pause it here. So next time we're gonna do the other game that features this mini collection called Donkey Kong Jr. Thank you for watching, and I hope you are looking forward to more.